What if extinction wasn't the end? Scientists have just found footprints of a creature that should have been dead for 80 years. Cameras in the jungle captured shadows that shouldn't exist. And fishermen swear they saw something emerging from the depths, something that science has declared extinct. Today, you'll meet 5 animals that may just be hiding. If you're already curious about this topic, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for even more surprising facts. Imagine a forest so dense that satellites can't see the ground, oceans so deep that 95% have never been explored, mountains where no human being has ever set foot. In these places, time moves differently, and some creatures simply never receive the warning that they should have disappeared. Extinction is simply the last time we've seen something. But what if they never needed to be seen? There is a scientific term called Lazarus taxon. These are species that disappear from the record and then reappear, alive. It has happened dozens of times. The coelacanth, a prehistoric fish, was rediscovered in 1938 after being considered extinct for 65 million years. The ilipika, a small mammal from the Chinese mountains, has reappeared after 20 years of not being seen. The terror bird of New Guinea, a giant bird that was thought to be extinct, was filmed in 2023. And most impressively, the coelacanth wasn't hidden away in some remote and inaccessible place. He was swimming in waters where local fishermen had always known him. We just never asked them. If this has happened so many times, how many other creatures are we declaring extinct too soon? Last official sighting, 1936, Hobart Zoo, Tasmania. A striped predator, half dog, half tiger. A jaw that opened 120 degrees, the largest opening among all mammals. Eyes that gleamed in the darkness with a ghostly yellow reflection. The Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine, was declared extinct when the last known specimen died in captivity. But Tasmania is an island with over 68,000 square kilometers of dense forest. Entire regions have never been properly mapped or explored, and the reports never stopped. In 2019, 2 people who did not know each other reported sightings in the same week, in different locations, with almost identical descriptions. An animal the size of a large dog, with dark stripes on its back, feline movements, but clearly not a wild dog. Unidentified footprints were found in remote areas of the island, with a gait pattern unlike any known animal in the area. In 2021, an audio recording captured nocturnal howls that do not correspond to any catalogued species. Acoustic analysis showed frequencies consistent with historical descriptions of the thylacine's call. The Tasmanian government maintains an active protocol for investigating sightings, something they wouldn't do if they considered the case definitively closed. Expeditions using camera traps are conducted annually in specific areas where sightings are concentrated. So far, no definitive photos, but the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. The thylacine was a nocturnal, solitary predator, extremely cautious. Exactly the type of animal that could evade human detection for decades. If you saw one, would science believe you? Or would you become just another name on the list of ignored witnesses? Official extinction 1400 AD after the disappearance of the moas, their giant tusks, the largest eagle that ever existed. Wingspan of 3 meters, weight up to 15 kilograms. Claws larger than those of a tiger, capable of piercing bones, capable of hunting prey 15 times its own weight, including moas weighing 200 kilograms. Haast's eagle was the apex predator of New Zealand before the arrival of humans. When the Maori hunted the moa to extinction, science assumes that the eagle disappeared soon after due to lack of food. But top predators don't give up easily. They adapt. New Zealand has vast, unexplored mountainous regions, especially on the South Island, deep valleys where helicopters rarely fly and humans have never set foot. Maori communities have been reporting sightings of giant birds in these regions for generations, using the term puakai, the traditional name for the Haast eagle. In 2015, a group of hikers in the Fiordland Mountains reported seeing an eagle of impossibly large size chasing a deer. The description perfectly matched Haast's eagle, not the modern eagles of the region. DNA analysis of feathers found in remote areas showed genetic variations that do not correspond to known species. Cameras installed on remote trails captured shadows in flight that were too large to be ordinary eagles, but never with enough clarity for confirmation. Here's the crucial detail. Haast eagles would not need moas to survive. There are deer, wild boars, and young seals, sufficient prey for a small population of eagles in isolated areas. And these eagles were intelligent, incredibly adaptable. If they learned to hunt moas weighing 200 kilograms, adapting to smaller prey would be simple. The question is not whether they could survive. The question is whether we really want to find them, because if Haast's eagle hunted humans in the past, and there is evidence of this in Maori legends, would you want to encounter it today? Last confirmed evidence, 1983, mountains of Taiwan. A feline covered in cloud-like patterns, irregular spots that look like mist on its fur, silent, solitary, nocturnal, the perfect hunter of dense forests. The Formosan clouded leopard is officially extinct, a victim of hunting and habitat destruction. But Taiwan has a secret. Only 14% of the territory has been scientifically explored in depth. The Central Mountains are a vertical labyrinth of primary forests, canyons and caves, and the reports never stopped. In 2019, multiple videos of a large feline surfaced in protected areas. The images are blurry, distant, and inconclusive for science, but they depicted an animal that was too large to be a domestic cat, with spot patterns that did not correspond to any domestic species.
That matches the trail camera
Fresh
photos.
footprints were found by forest
Definitely
rangers
the
in
same
mountainous
cat.
regions. Molds were made and analyzed. In conclusion, this is a large feline, and its plantar pad pattern does
The
not
width here
correspond
is
to any
almost 10
species
centimeters.
catalogued on the island. Unidentified
So the
hairs
impression
were
on this
collected
topaz
in
is
camera
deep.
traps. Microscopic analysis showed a medullary structure consistent with medium-sized wild cats, but not corresponding to available historical samples of the common clouded leopard. The Taiwanese government took the report so seriously that it offered a significant financial reward for concrete, photographic or physical evidence. This is not something governments do for animals they consider definitively extinct. Here is the crucial factor. The Formosan clouded leopard was an endemic subspecies, genetically distinct from the clouded leopards of the mainland. It was smaller, better adapted to high altitudes, and had slightly different coat patterns, exactly the type of animal that could survive in small numbers in the mountains without being detected. Taiwan has one of the highest densities of camera traps in the world within its protected areas. Even so, big cats are notoriously difficult to capture on camera, even when their presence is confirmed by other methods. How many extinct animals are simply better at hiding than we are at searching? What if extinction is simply our giving up the search? Local legends, Republic of Congo, Congo Basin centuries ago, consistently described as a sauropod. Long neck emerging from the water, massive body of a hippopotamus. It lives in deep jungle lakes, especially Lake Tele.
The deep
It
one
leaves
has
three-toed
left its mark.
footprints that are more than a meter in diameter. Mokalembembe means the one who stops the flow of rivers in the local language. And before dismissing this as folklore, consider the facts. Hundreds of testimonies from local communities, consistent across generations, long before Westerners arrived with books about dinosaurs. The descriptions never change. Child or adult, fisherman or hunter, the animal described is always the same. Long neck, greyish skin like an elephant's, slow and deliberate movements, extremely territorial. Scientific expeditions were carried out between 1980 and 2012. Several captured low-frequency underwater sounds that did not correspond to any known animal in the region. Sonar detected large, moving masses in deep lakes that did not correspond to hippos or crocodiles. Giant footprints were photographed and molded into river banks with a three-toed pattern not corresponding to any modern African animal. The Congo Basin is one of the most unexplored regions on the planet. 2 million square kilometers of dense rainforest, impenetrable swamps, and unexplored rivers. New large mammals are still being discovered there regularly. In 2007, scientists discovered a population of 125,000 western lowland gorillas that no one knew existed. Gorillas, noisy and social primates, went unnoticed. Now imagine a solitary, silent aquatic reptile. Herein lies the scientific controversy. Sauropods couldn't have survived for 65 million years, right? But the coelacanth proved that prehistoric fish can survive unchanged for hundreds of millions of years in deep waters. The Komodo dragon proved that giant reptiles can go unnoticed on remote islands for up to 1912 years. The prehistoric crocodile found in the Philippines in 2009 showed that large reptiles can live in inhabited areas without being documented. The question is not whether dinosaurs can survive. The question is whether a large aquatic reptile could go unnoticed in one of the least explored regions of the world. And the honest answer is yes. Western science says it's impossible. Local communities say, we've seen it for centuries, you just don't want to believe it. And Dame, what if the real extinction is our willingness to listen? Official extinction 3.6 million years ago. 23 meters long, estimated weight between 50 and 100 tons. Teeth the size of human hands, some specimens found measuring over 18 centimeters. Its bite force is estimated to be between 20 and 40,000 pounds, 10 times more powerful than that of a great white shark. The largest predator that ever inhabited the oceans. The Megalodon dominated the seas from the Miocene to the Pliocene, hunting prehistoric whales with brutal efficiency, and then it disappeared from the fossil record. But here's the problem with marine extinctions. 95% of the oceans have never been explored. The abyssal zones below 7,000 meters are practically unknown. We have more detailed maps of the surface of Mars than of the bottom of our own oceans. And impossible things keep happening. In 2013, scientists discovered the megamouth shark, a 5-meter-long species that had never been seen before. In 2018, footage captured colossal squid at depths believed to be uninhabited by large predators. Now, consider the anomalous evidence. Giant bite marks on modern whales, much larger than any bite mark from a great white shark, with no satisfactory explanation. Perfect circular scars, as if made by conical teeth of an impossible size. Megalodon teeth found in the Pacific have controversial dates, with some researchers arguing they are only a few thousand years old, not millions. The scientific community dismisses these datings as contamination, but the controversy persists. Underwater footage from mid-depth zones has captured massive shadows, much larger than any known shark, moving at speeds impossible for whales. No conclusive identification. Military sonar has detected gigantic mobile biological objects in deep waters that do not correspond to whales or any catalogued creature. This data is classified, but occasional leaks fuel speculation. Here is the rational counter-argument. To survive, a megalodon would need tons of food daily. A viable population would require hundreds of individuals, leaving inevitable evidence. But what if the megalodon evolved? What if it adapted to extreme depths where pressure and darkness keep humans away? What if it developed a slower metabolism, hunting only occasionally in deep waters where whales dive. Sperm whales regularly dive to depths of over 2,000 meters. Beaked whales reach speeds of 3,000 meters, depths we never truly look into. The coelacanth survived at depths between 100 and 400 meters, precisely in the twilight zone where light and darkness meet. Nobody looked there until 1938. Are we looking for megalodons at the right depths? Or do we just assume he's not there? The ocean is more unexplored than outer space. If something wanted to hide, it would be the perfect place. And with each passing year, we discover that the ocean floor is far more teeming with life than we ever imagined. Each deep-sea expedition discovers new species and entire ecosystems functioning without sunlight. So the question isn't whether the megalodon could be alive. The question is, would you swim knowing that perhaps something is watching from below? These animals are not just stories, these are reminders that our planet still holds profound secrets. Extinction is not an instantaneous event, a clear line between existence and disappearance. It is a silence that slowly spreads through forests, mountains, and oceans, a silence that lasts for decades, sometimes centuries, until suddenly something responds, a footprint in the mud, a shadow captured in shaky video, a sound in the darkness that shouldn't exist. And when that happens, when a kind of Lazarus emerges from the shadows, we realize something fundamental. Nature has always been better at surviving than we are at declaring its death. We declare the coelacanth extinct for 65 million years. He was just swimming where we weren't looking. We declare Ili's pika missing. He was simply living in mountains we didn't climb.
Up there, do you see it?
How many times do we need to be wrong before we learn to doubt our own extinction? The uncomfortable truth is this. Extinction is a word we use when we stop searching, when we decide that the effort of finding it is no longer worthwhile. When the last specimen in the zoo dies, we close the book. But nature doesn't close books. Nature continues, hidden, adapting, surviving in places we consider worthless or impossible. And perhaps, just perhaps, these creatures are not hidden. Perhaps they are exactly where they have always been. And it's us who stopped being present enough to see them, right now, in some forgotten Tasmanian forest, deep in some unexplored New Zealand valley, in the depths of an ocean we've never fully mapped. A creature we thought was extinct is breathing. She doesn't know she's disappeared. She didn't read the scientific articles declaring its extinction. She didn't watch the documentaries mourning her loss. For her, each day is just another day. To hunt, to survive, to exist. No hearing, no witnesses, no need for our validation. And perhaps that's exactly why she survived, because in her view, we never existed. We are merely occasional shadows on the edge of your world, noisy and temporary. And when we leave, when we give up searching, when we declare extinction and move on, it simply continues. In the darkness, deep down, in silence, waiting. The question is not whether they exist. The question is, when will we finally look in the right places, with the right patience, with the humility to admit that perhaps, just perhaps, nature knows how to hide better than we know how to look? Which of these creatures do you believe is still alive? The Tasmanian tiger in the island's impenetrable forests? Haast's eagle in the icy peaks of New Zealand? The clouded leopard of Formosa in the mountains of Taiwan? The Mokelembembe in the deep lakes of the Congo, or the Megalodon in the abyssal depths that we've never explored? If you could lead an expedition to find one of them, risking years of your life in the search, which one would you choose? Leave your comments below, because each of these animals represents something greater than its own existence. They represent our relationship with the unknown, with possibility, with the hope that the world is still bigger and more mysterious than our maps suggest. And if you know of any other extinct animals with recent sightings, some local creature that people swear they've seen but science ignores, please share the story, because each account, each testimony, each footprint in the mud is a piece of the puzzle. And perhaps together we can solve the mystery that science alone cannot. But what if some animals aren't just hiding, aren't just surviving silently on the edges of the known world? What if some people are waiting?